interviews with Vanity Fair. Susie Wiles says Trump has a, quote, alcoholic personality and will go for it whenever he sees an opportunity for retribution. She also calls Vice President Vance a conspiracy theorist for a decade and says Attorney General Pam Bondi whiffed on the Epstein files controversy. Now Wiles is calling the article a disingenuously framed hit piece. White House correspondent Karen Travers is here for more on that. Hi, Karen. So Wiles is taking issue with this article, but she's not denying the specific quotes, and some of them are pretty eye-opening. So how is she explaining some of these statements?
Yeah, and this was a series of interviews that she did with Vanity Fair's Chris Whipple over many months. 11 interviews, he said, that he put together in these two pieces. In her statement posted on social media, Susie Wiles says this is a disingenuously framed hit piece on me, the president, the White House staff, and the cabinet. But she also says that this was done to paint an overwhelmingly chaotic and negative narrative about the president and our team. But Diane, this piece has Washington talking because there are some incredible headlines in here. She talks about the president's retribution campaign, saying that when there's an opportunity, he will go for it, but that there was a loose agreement that the score settling would end before the first 90 days of his term were over. She talked about Elon Musk, who came in and was put in charge of the Department of Government Efficiency. She said that he was an odd duck whose actions were not always rational and sometimes left her aghast. She talked about J.D. Vance, who at one point was very anti-Trump and then, of course, is now part of the MAGA fold. And she said that that conversion was sort of political. She talked about the tariffs that the president put in place and said that there was a huge disagreement about this major policy decision of the president's, saying that this was a conversation and disagreement about whether they were a good idea. And on the president's current strategy in the Caribbean against Venezuela, she says that that strategy is to keep blowing up boats until Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela, says uncle. Diane?
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Described him as one of the most dangerous men on the face of the earth.
Welcome to the Man Cave. Welcome to the Man Cave. I'm Gray Mars.
I'm 85 Slim.
I'm Doc.
I'm Skeptic.
It's Mia.
So Trump's own chief of staff said that he acts like an alcoholic. Skeptic, I'm pretty sure that's great news for you to hear. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I don't know about alcoholic. I would say it's more of like, I don't know, the sugar booger or something. He's on something because staying up all night and getting on not TikTok, on X, and just like rambling off. Hey, King, it's been a while.
It's been a minute. I just had enough time to come on up. School is closing out right now. Your boy's on his way to getting his bachelor's and hitting into my master's in the summer.
Nice. This is a good surprise here. I wasn't expecting it. But right. The thing about it is, though, he's been acting unhinged for a very long time. Like the fact that also he was saying we were going to boom another like country prior to it happening, right? Whenever we had like the conflict, like that's crazy coming from a president, an office that's supposed to hold some kind of respect. So like we all know, she just said the thing that she named the elephant. She finally talked about it. Like we all know that he's unhinged.
For sure. Mia, what you think about Susan Wiles, Trump's own chief of staff, attacking him?
I mean, is it really an attack if she's making an observation? Like, is it actually an attack if she's just stating what she observed? I mean, she told no lies. J.D. Vance is a turncoat and he can't be trusted, and he did everything he did for his own political gain. I mean, she didn't lie about that. And Trump can definitely act like an angry drunk. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not up at 3:00 in the morning unless somebody's paying me. And then I'm definitely not going to be on True Social or X, talking shit to people. And that's cool if that's what he wants to do. I mean, just not me. I mean, she didn't really tell any lies about anybody. I'm sure a lot of those quotes were taken out of context, and I'm sure if we read the transcripts, they would make a little bit more sense. But I mean, she said what she said, and she didn't say those quotes. She just said it was disingenuous. So I mean,
well, like MAGA always does, Vice President J.D. Vance is calling this fake news.
And the last thing I'll say is, if any of us have learned a lesson from that Vanity Fair article, I hope that the lesson is we should be giving fewer interviews to mainstream media outlets. So with that lesson internalized, I'm going to stop taking questions and just leave you with one.
King J, welcome back. What do you think about MAGA saying this is fake news, even though they let the reporter come and take all these notes and even take pictures?
I just think that it just proves what we've been saying since the beginning of this tyrannical, disgusting administration. His entire base is delusional. They're not rooted in any facts. They choose to believe whatever comes out that man's mouth, even though we're obviously watching something in real time. They choose to believe that it's not happening. I don't know how many times somebody has to stick their middle finger up in your face for you to say, oh, he's sticking his middle finger up at me. So this is just their normal behavior. They've been doing this from the get-go. It doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter what happens around the Trump administration. If that man says the sky is purple, as far as they're concerned, the damn sky is purple.
So I want y'all to see these photos. So these photos, they're trying to say this shows that Vanity Fair had malicious intent.
Fair photographer Christopher Anderson really said, "Viva la resistance." Where do I even begin? Let's start with this photo of Caroline Levitt that probably sent her into psychosis this morning. This is not zoomed in at all. This is just the photo that they posted. You can see every single injection.
Man, and she gonna lay off the filler.
Every line, every blemish.
Lips
I can see the injection dots from the filler.
The lips look painful. It looks painful, like literally.
And this photo, which is supposed to be like her
filler, is
power
painful.
pose, just the way it's positioned, it's lit, it's zoomed out, like she looks tiny. She looks like she bought her suit with Kohl's cash. Like, it's not giving what she thought this photo is going to turn out to be. This photo of Marco Rubio just looks like they took one of those cameras that intentionally shows you all of the sun damage that is under your skin. And this photo, the lighting, the posture, it's just, it looks like a defeated man. Like, this was intentionally taken to show
what is he doing?
Looking very, very weak.
I have no idea. He looks
Vance
tiny.
Looks like one of his memes.
Well, he looks like one of those horror movies.
Most diabolical because you know in his head he was thinking he was getting that really good like GQ shot because they had him like unbuttoning the blazer, but then they zoomed out like this. They gave this like weird lighting, like fluorescent overhead lighting. It looks terrible, and again, it was very intentional to make him look weak. Stephen Miller, like the shadow casting over his face in both of these pictures was so intentional. Susie Wiles, insane. She just looks like an HR manager taking a photo for LinkedIn. Dan Scavino, like all of these pictures were so intentionally taken to make every single one of them look weak. Like this was a humiliation ritual. Like look at this photo here. The way he's positioned, it's very clear that he thought he was taking this photo that he was like looking off like strong man, arm out, but just the way they took the photo, it had the opposite effect. And mind you, these kinds of like straightforward zoomed out shots can be very powerful with the right lighting, positioning, and everything. For instance, look at this picture of Michelle Obama for Vanity Fair. And close-up face shots can also be like very powerful and flattering. For instance, just look at this photo of Michelle Obama for Vanity Fair. Christopher Anderson, you deserve every award. Like some people might call this bad photography. I see this as brilliant photography. Bravo.
Slim, Mr. MAGA, was this a political hit job that Vanity Fair set them up?
Man, everything is a political hit job on my band, man. Y'all know how it is. See, the bottom line is he's doing a really, really good job running this country. That's the period. No matter how you want to look at it, no matter how you want to downplay it, and everything is smoke and mirrors. See, they use these things to distract us because everyone has an opinion, right? But the reality is, what the fuck going on with the Somalians in Minnesota? That video that Mia shared in the group, that's way more powerful than the shit they talking about my boy. At the end of the day, a lot of shit will be exposed, and I'm gonna sit back and let this shit go down because all this shit is smoke and mirrors to me. Everything is just a distraction. Just watch.
So this is the journalist's response to all the negative attention.
Is unfortunately another example of disingenuous reporting, where you have a reporter who took the chief of staff's words wildly out of context. I think the most egregious part of this article was the bias of omission.
Are things that are taken out of context? Because some of the quotes they're tight. I mean, they're just, it's like
everything was scrupulously in context. There isn't a single fact or a single assertion that they've challenged in the piece.
Susie Wiles did at one point say that she denied saying that Elon Musk is an avowed ketamine user. You then apparently, according to the reporter, you played a tape for the New York Times which confirmed that quote.
It's on tape, as is every assertion that Susie made. And as you know, I interviewed the Inner Circle as well. I talked to J.D. Vance, I talked to Marco Rubio, Stephen Miller, and others. All of it taped, all of it on the record.
They spend so much time trying to bash this dude. It's fucking unbelievable, bro. Go ahead.
Doc, is it true what Slim is saying? Is the media being biased or are they just doing their job?
She might be the drunk. She calling him the drunk, but she might be the drunk if she denying it in his own tape. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be the person to back Trump up or I don't want to be the MAGA guy. But bro, I could have took better photos on an iPhone, bro. You know what I'm saying? And to the photographers, shoot the photographers some bail. These are ugly people. So, you know, it ain't really the photographer fault that these people are ugly. You can't dress those lips up but so much. You know what I'm saying? It's not but so much he could have did with the canvases he was given. But I mean, she probably went up there and said how she felt or what she was feeling at the time. And then, like any other politician, she said that shit and realized there wasn't no money in it, and she went back on her word. You know what I'm saying? So, do I think it's a political? I don't want to say it's a political hippies because she said it. You know what I mean? And we gotta hold them to the things that she said. The man got a recording of her saying it. I think these people just want to go back and forth when something is advantageous for them and when it's not. She wanted to bash Trump when it was advantageous for her. She wanted to support him when it's advantageous for her. You know what I mean? These people are going to flip-flop. They're not really for the American people. And so can she be trusted to do any position in the government going forward at any point? You know what I mean? With an opinion like that, if she's going to go back on it and somebody's got her recorded saying it. That's just crazy to me.
So the question is, are Republicans turning on Trump? Some Republicans, we talked about this last night, were mad about what he said about Rob Reiner. This is another Republican that's saying that Republicans basically are upset with Trump but don't want to say it.
Clearly also really tragic just for the Reiner family.
Oh, yes.
I mean, you have no problem calling out what the president said, but why do you think other Republicans have struggled to do so?
I can't comprehend it, but Caitlin, I'd like to point something out. Just last week, and I think the dam is breaking. Many Republicans may not have called him out, but last week 13 Republicans voted with Democrats to overturn one of President Trump's executive orders, which enabled him to fire federal workers. We also saw Indiana Republicans vote against redistricting. He didn't call any of them traitors and call for primaries against them. But I would like to say that that is a sign where you're seeing Republicans, they're entering the campaign phase for 2026, which is a large signal that lame duck season has begun and that Republicans will go in all in for themselves in order to save their own reelections.
You think the dam is breaking and
Mia, you seem to be one of those people where the dam is breaking. You seem to be criticizing the Trump administration more. Do you feel that there are more people who voted for Trump that feel the way that Marjorie Taylor Greene feels?
So I don't know if it was last week or the week before, or maybe even 2 weeks ago, I said that the conservatives are splitting There you have Trumpers who are following Trump, and then you have America First. Like, I still consider myself conservative. However, I'm America First. I don't think we should be going to war in Venezuela, even though Trump does. I'll split when I think things aren't correct. And I think we're seeing the fracturing of that because we have people that, I don't know how to put this without being a douchebag.
They have
We
logic.
have we have people that have pattern recognition and that have reading comprehension and that are paying attention to the CPI reports, that are paying attention to the data and saying, okay, this is what you said and this is what's actually happening. And, you know, I am America First. Do I think we should be getting into any wars? Absolutely not. Do I think we should be allowing foreign countries to control our government? Absolutely not. Does Trump and Trumpers think that? Yes, they do. So I will stay over here in the America First aisle, and Trumpers can stay over there in the other aisle.
Okay, so the question for everybody: have you ever had to fake it at a Christmas party?
Comprehend it, but Caitlin, I'd like to point something out. Just last week, and I think the dam is breaking. Many Republicans may not have called him to fire federal workers. We also saw Indiana Republicans vote against redistricting. He didn't call any of them traitors and call for primaries against them. But I would like to say that that is a sign where you're seeing Republicans, they're entering the campaign phase for 2026, which is a large signal that lame duck season has begun and that Republicans will go in all in for themselves in order to save their own reelections.
You think the dam is breaking in terms of the president's iron?
And went to the White House Christmas party. That's pretty to take down his executive order last week. Literally that same evening, put on their tuxedos and their evening ball gowns and went to the White House Christmas party. That's pretty bold.
What do you think? Do you think that message is being received at the White House?
I'm sure it's being received, and there's a lot of pushback happening. You're seeing it all within the conference. And just to be clear, Caitlin, I have a 98% voting record with President Trump. The only places that I've stood against him on are, of course, with the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and the discharge petition, against destroying state rights when it comes to making regulation and laws on AI, and then a few other issues like bringing in 600,000 Chinese foreign students, replacing American students, and I'm largely opposed to H-1B visas and visas replacing American workers. So I've only broken from the president in a few places, but he came down on me the hardest. But yet he's got real problems with Republicans within the House and the Senate that will be breaking with him on more things to come.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
So King J, this comment, he turned on MTG and this was his number one. So she's been a complete 180 since you've been here. Why would you feel like Trump turned on her? Because she was basically trying to push the Epstein files and things like that. Is it basically like, you know, you have to have complete blind loyalty to Trump? What do you think about this?
I would say that this president has shown some really sadistic characteristics when we talk about how he treats the people in his inner circle or people that are perceived to be in his inner circle. And from my perspective, it looks like he was trying to make an example out of her and scare the rest of the Republicans back into line. Because if you know what they say, if one steps up and stands up against me, then all of them will do the same thing. So he thought by leaving her out to dry, stringing her up, was going to quiet the rest of them down. But the reality of everything and what we're watching now is that Republicans they know that 2026 is going to be a bloodbath. It's obvious. And for Republicans or, you know, Black MAGA to act like this is not happening in real time while we're watching Democrats take offices in places they haven't held for years, you need to realize, the American people realize this stuff is not working for them. For people to say that this economy is so damn great or that he's helping and he's not, when we have people that are getting cut off of insurance, the Republicans are literally panicking right now because they realize if on the 31st of December, when these tax credits go out and these people can't have health care, y'all think it's bad now. Wait until these folks can't go to the hospital. It'll never be another Republican in office again. I promise you. Y'all are going to vote yourself out for the next 20 years by cutting the most vulnerable parts of the population off. with these lame ass excuses that y'all continue to make that immigrants and all these people are getting fucking Medicaid and they're not. So I hope that all of this stuff that y'all voted for, you know, this might sound a little cruel. I hope that everything that he voted and put into place comes into place so the American people can realize that this president never had your best heart in mind, and that while you don't have insurance, he's building a $250 million ballroom in DC while your family and your grandpa cannot get insulin. Think about that.
So let's talk about